life as an 11-year-old waffle was hard, man. Let me give you this scenario. After a long week of school, it's finally Saturday morning, and I'm given a choice to either play video games or watch Sonic X. I'm terrible with decisions. Growing up, I never played sports or did any extracurricular activities. No, my free time was dedicated to video games and anime. And sometimes I like to combine the two, playing video games that are based on anime, but we'll save that for another video. Or, the topic of today, watch anime based on video games. Sonic X and Kirby Right Back At Ya are perfect examples of this, and the main reason why I wanted to make this video. Seeing characters and storylines from a game now in beautiful, animated, anime-like fashion always tickles my fancy. So today we're gonna go through some of my favorite series that made the jump from video game to anime. Now, I've already made full-length videos on both Sonic X and Kirby Right Back At Ya, so I won't go into too much detail here and just echo what I said in those videos. Sonic X was the perfect anime series to represent the new and edgy 2000s Sonic we were starting to see more often in the games. The show was, no pun intended, fast. It kept Sonic's cocky and boastful attitude that made us fall in love with him, but the show was actually able to have character development. Like, yeah, we want to see Sonic go fast and fight the bad guys while saying, "Piece of cake!" But other times, we just want to see the softer side of the character, an actual reason to like and root for him. The perfect example of this is in one of my favorite episodes, episode 14, That's What Friends Are For. Here, Sonic gets invited to a party at the White House by the president, but he of course doesn't care, he's too cool, and decides to run off instead. During this escape, Sonic runs into a wheelchair-bound girl named Helen who's stuck in the sand. Sonic, being a good guy, helps her out. And instead of running away immediately to escape responsibility, he instead befriends the girl and gives her the best day ever, picking flowers and playing on the beach.
You really want to see that island, Helen?
Of course I do.
Then I'm gonna take you.
Stuff like this is why Sonic X is so great. Kirby Right Back At Ya was more of the same, getting to take a deeper look into Dreamland. Kirby, however, being a silent protagonist, kinda made the show not always about him, but instead these two kids, who are fine, but in a Kirby anime, it kinda sucks that Kirby isn't the focus. But we do get King Dedede.
This boy's going into orbit. Oh, there goes my refund.
So that's great. Street Fighter, a game series about awesome fighters from all over the world using their crazy and unique abilities to become number one. That right there is the perfect concept for an anime. The character art looks like it, and they have flashy over-the-top special abilities. Well, in 1994, there was the Street Fighter movie. No, not that one. But this one! Street Fighter 2 the movie is just so good. Unlike a lot of anime we're gonna talk about, this one isn't exactly targeted for the kids who may have played the game. I remember catching it on Adult Swim one night. That should kind of set the tone for what this movie is. It's got the gritty 90s feel to it. It's dark and dirty feeling, but in a good way. Colors don't really pop unless they're meant to. For example, Ryu's red signature headband really stands out compared to everything in this scene. The plot is also pretty serious. It's about M. Bison trying to take over the world and kill everyone. There is a military subplot where they have to infiltrate and overthrow Bison's base, kind of like in the awful live-action movie. But here, it's much less annoying considering there's so much awesome fighting in this movie. The fight choreography and stunning animations really get you hyped. You can really see and feel the impact behind every punch and attack. It's really brutal sometimes. Really great fan service for fans of the series. All the characters and special moves are here, as well as a little something for the other fans. Mega Man NT Warrior, Star Force, and Upon a Star. I've also made full-length videos on these shows. All in all, they're all really good, building up the Mega Man Battle Network universe that was popular at the time. The shows had that perfect Saturday morning cartoon vibe to them. Cheesy voice acting, cheesy storylines, cheesy action. Cheese? Okay, there was no cheese. But now it's time for something special, because we are going to talk about Tales of Symphonia, my favorite game of all time. Now look, if I were to go into depth about why I love this game, every little detail about it that makes me happy, we'd be here for hours. No joke. Tales of Symphonia is an RPG following our hero Lloyd Irving and his friends going on a journey to regenerate the world. They're spirits, angels, fighting, Robin from Teen Titans.
Just moved here, and from now on, I work alone. I want to use the Eternal Sword to reunite the two worlds.
Oh, I could praise this game for days. But in short, it's a JRPG. I mean, come on, it had 2 discs on the GameCube to play all the way through. It's a pretty beefy game that I genuinely cannot sum up in a short amount of time, apart from what I just did. So, if this game interests you, but you don't have dozens of hours to dedicate, which I get that, then you can instead check out the Tales of Symphonia OVA. That's right, a full-on anime series dedicated to my favorite game, and it was okay. Well, that's kind of anticlimactic. Yeah, while there's nothing technically wrong with the show, it looks nice, has some fun action, visual shots, an intro song that makes me happy. This show is just a retelling of the game. Starts out with Lloyd, Colette, and Genis in school, go to the chapel, fight. Here's Kratos, he's pretty cool. And while all of that is fine, there's only 8 episodes. 8 episodes to fill dozens and dozens of hours worth of story, which translates to the show sometimes feeling kinda rushed. The emotional payoff of some scenes and storylines in the game don't hit as hard in the anime, considering it just feels kinda rushed. This is kind of a trend with the Tales series. Tales of the Abyss, Fantasia, Zestiria, all just essentially watered down retellings of the games themselves. Now, there was a Tales of Vesperia movie that acted as a prequel to the game, following Yuri and Flynn's journey into knighthood. This is more like it.
We're gonna go see your mommy now, okay? Let's go, Lambert. You lead the way.
But for the rest of these types of anime, we'll call this ARPG syndrome, which is short for anime RPG. Animes that just retell the game's story that it's based off of, but usually in a more rushed and unsatisfying manner. Persona 5 is unfortunately another victim of this. The Persona 5 game has all the makings of a great anime. It's aesthetically super stylistic, and it's got both action and slice of life in there. But if you've played the game and then watched the anime, you'll probably feel a little irked. Now again, these shows aren't bad. Persona 5 has such an interesting premise that you'd have to actively try to make the anime bad. But instead, it's just another watered-down copy and paste of the game. Once again, lacking a lot of the emotional investment you would normally get from investing hours and hours and hours into the game. Here, it's like, this is the gym teacher. You don't like him, okay? Just immediately hate him within a few minutes. Which again, works because he's kind of a jerk. But it's just handled so much better in the game. Now, if you show this to a friend who only knows Joker as that one Smash Bros. DLC character, will they like it? Well, most likely. Again, it does tell the story and get across the characters and premise of the game in an entertaining and quick way. I've heard the Persona 4 anime is way better. From what I can gather, it is kind of another retelling of the game. However, it adds a bit more humor to the story, as well as giving the main character some actual personality traits. A pretty big issue with Persona 5.
I can't hold it anymore!
Jeez, that was it? What are you doing? You can't pee right here. It's someone's room.
Here, Joker is your typical silent but good at everything and loved by everyone protagonist. He's about as interesting as bread. But in Persona 4, I guess they gave you much more personality, making you more invested in the show. Again, I haven't seen it yet because I can't watch all of these shows. I got YouTube videos to make. But good for you, Persona 4. Being a good show and all.
I'm gonna walk over and sleep in the girls' tent. They've got more balls than you.
For some girls, that is true.
Pokemon! Everyone knows and loves Pokemon. Normally in these games you battle with these trainers and choose between your favorite fire, water, or grass type starter. I guess that concept was dumb for animation because now we got Ash catch up with a Pikachu, traveling with 2 gym leaders from whatever game's generation is out at the time, going on adventures. It's fun and harmless enough. Pokemon Generations, however, was Pokemon's first real attempt to follow the game's story with a much more serious tone. At the end of the day, these are fantasy monsters fighting each other, but Jesus, sometimes the show gets dark. If you're looking for a more mature Pokemon story, then don't sleep on Generations.
See that? I happen to be an incredible genius.
There are so many shows that I really want to watch, but just don't have the time for. There's a Dragon Quest anime that I'm sure is really good, because Dragon Quest is a really fun and interesting series. It came out in the late 80s, so if this anime is a retelling of the games, I definitely give it a pass in the ARPG genre, considering the games at the time looked like this. So now being able to see them look like this is pretty awesome. Professor Layton is a game series that just oozes charm. The characters, the world, it's all so enjoyable. So turning a detective game into a detective anime works out pretty well. In the games, you have to solve mysteries. The only difference with the show is that the narrative is now moved along for you, and you have to figure it out before the episode ends. I didn't have to explain how mystery dramas worked, but here I am. Final Fantasy XV was a great friendship road trip simulator with the occasional monster fight. The characters were really what kept me going through this game. Noctis, Gladiolus, Prompto, and Ignis are the perfect quartet of friends. Final Fantasy XV Brotherhood was a short mini-series developing the friendship of these characters even more, with how they met and why they're connected and friends today. I'm a huge sucker for friendship, so my heart has such a soft spot for it in games and anime.
I think we can forget about hitching our way there. Thought people were friendly outside the city.
You can only go so far on the kindness of strangers.
I'd say watch the anime before playing the game. That way, once you start the game and this crew is immediately just driving their merry way through the desert, you can feel like, heck yeah, friendship! I know why you has an affinity for you. There was a Parappa the Rapper anime. Why am I now just learning about this? I was only able to watch the first episode, but from what I saw, it was really charming and cute. Like Animal Crossing if it were in the ghetto. Like, yeah, there's cute animal characters, but they all have that hard attitude. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone pulled out a gun and started blasting. It was a really charming anime from what I saw, but something was missing. Something kind of important. Nowhere in the episode was there a rap. You know, what the games are about? It's called Parappa the Rapper, not Parappa the Social Conversator. Just a little something-something's all I'm asking.
You get a motherfucking bullet in your forehead.
Yeah, like that. As your local waffle weeaboo, I'm almost easily entertained by just about any anime out there. There are so many anime based on video games that I just haven't talked about or seen yet, because they're seemingly never ending. So if I didn't get to one of your favorites, leave it down in the comments below and maybe I'll check it out. At the end of the day, I love watching cartoons and anime, because even though I'm not a kid anymore, the second I see one of my favorite video game series in an anime, I'm gonna be glued to my TV in my SpongeBob pajama pants and bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, with the biggest smile on my face. Apart from you, Hyperdimension Neptunia, I will never watch you! I don't even know what that is!